Hi everyone and welcome back to my small block Chevy dream. Firstly, let me say I apologise for the time between the last video and this one. I've actually got some new editing software and slowly trying to get my head around how to use it and how to drive it. So hopefully this episode isn't too ugly, but on the other side of that, hopefully you get something out of it as far as information goes. Hi there everyone, I just thought I'd show you where the cylinder heads are at the moment, and as you can see there's quite a bit of welding that's happened on the face of the head where this insert come out, and because the seats, don't know if you can see that, interlock, we've had to change both inlet and exhaust seats. And also you can see in the exhaust port there, hopefully, there's quite a bit of welding that's had to happen, because when the insert came out it took a fair chunk of aluminium with it. So anyway, that's one of the issues, the obvious ones that we saw when we pulled the heads apart. But since that time, and I'm not sure if you can see this, I'll try and zoom up, you can see this area here where on each side of each inlet port we've had cracks open up. We started off with one crack in the head and I didn't think much of it, just kept an eye on it type thing. But since the last event where we've started to do some full quarter mile passes, we can see the weaknesses starting to rear their head, and part of the issue is excuse me, we've got the rocker stand, which in the past videos I've said how nice they are because they spread the load across each side of the fulcrum of the rocker. But the bad part is that you've got four of these studs basically that hold this side of the rocker stand down against the head. And when you consider that you've got, you know, approximately 400 pounds closed, 950 to 1,000 pounds of open spring pressure acting against those four studs, this rocker stand basically wants to lift up on the valve side, on this side. It plants this side to a certain extent, but this side really wants to get the hell out of there. So, you know, you look at an old setup with screw-in studs, at least you've got a 7/16 thread holding each rocker, which in turn, you know, when you look at that, you've got 8 studs holding down 8 springs, whereas this you've got 4 studs taking most of the load and they're only 3/8 studs. So not too sure what we're going to do, whether we take spring pressure out of this thing, which will change something else. And we've got to consider keeping the valve train stable, and that's from the camshaft up. So I don't want to go too low because we might run into troubles with you know, the lifter jumping off the lobe at full lift and smashing back down at the wrong part of the lobe, because obviously the lobe has a nice slow opening rate. As it opens the valve, it's quite controlled. So if the lifter jumps off the lobe, it will or it can land in a bad spot and cause even more damage. I mean, potentially, if we didn't do anything about this, it's just wanting to peel the top of the head off. So Brett's welded all these up, whether they were cracked or not. We had about 4 to 5, I think it was, cracked inlet ports, and it all stems from this, I think, from this square cut that's at the base of the spring pad here. It would have been nice to have a radius in there, and that would have spread the load a little bit, but because it's a square cut, it's a floor, and it's a place where a crack can start. So obviously we've found that limit. So in the next few weeks we'll be studying pretty hard on how to overcome this, but you know, fitting inserts and repairing the damage on this side, obviously, well, that's common for any cylinder head person, and especially those who muck around with performance stuff. It is pretty common, so I'm not terribly concerned about this, but this concerns me because obviously we're caning this thing a bit, 10.5, 10.7 as far as RPM goes, and yeah, it's something that I want to nail. We can't be doing this every time we run the car, and it's real obvious on this side. You can see where the rocker stand's moving on the valve side, and yet on the valve cover side, or the inlet port face side, there's no chafing at all. So this is just a sign of the rocker stand moving around. So and you can see here it's really flogged that hole out a bit, so I might have to weld that one up, so much so that, you know, so it's horrible to look at this stuff because I treasure these parts. So yeah, one of the many challenges that you have in drag racing when you're trying to push the limit, and it's not unexpected, but you know, there's always challenges, but I really didn't expect a quality item like this to suffer these issues, because it's built for racing, and it should, on paper, it should handle the stresses that you know, these sort of heads are used for, and I can assure you that sort of spring pressure is normal in this game. So, but yeah, we might back them down to 350 closed, and maybe if we can get them down to sort of low nines open at full lift, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's just a little insight into you know, so not all beer and skittles. There are these challenges, and this one definitely is unexpected, but like everything in drag racing, you just got to persevere and keep trying, and do the best you can, and hopefully we can overcome this one. Thank you. This photo here shows you quite clearly where the cracks extend from that square cut at the base of the spring pad, so that's why I've added that photo. And I've just got a series of photos on various parts of the heads that have been welded, which there's not much that hasn't been welded, but these are the things you deal with in drag racing when you're pushing the limit, and yeah, I don't feel bad about it. It's just another challenge, and that's the way you got to look at it. So we'll just keep persevering, and we'll get there in the end if you keep pushing. This is another problem we've found, that you can see the material that's built up at the base of that seat. These are a 50-degree valve seat angle, and there you have on the valves, if you stop the video, you can see the various valves and how much of a run out they have for various reasons, mainly probably because of the fuel line coming off and increasing the heat in the chamber. So I think that's not been kind for us. But anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.